Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Mark Ruggiero, aka Clark Commando 1983, and this is part 2 of my Learn to Play Civil War Brigade series. I am going to attempt to cover in the next 15-16 minutes the command and control of the Civil War Brigade series, the order system, and initiative. And honestly, it's the order system, in my opinion, that really makes this series stand out and makes it special. I'm going to do my very best to cover everything. Obviously, any mistakes are mine. So anyways, let's get going here. So the first thing, the most basic way the game handles, and I'm going to show you a chart here, kind of to keep things together within, hopefully I'm using the right terminology, within command. And remember, you can always play these games without the order system, but to me, it's what makes them special. So anyway, so the basic command, and I'm going to try to show you this chart here, which is in the 3.2 rulebook, which is available online on the Gamers Resources on the MMP site. And it may look a little bit confusing, but basically what it's showing you here is for the basic command, you're going to go, your division commanders have to always be stacked with one of their brigades. If there's no brigades on the map, the leader is removed from the game. And they have to be within 4 leader movement points of each brigade in a division. Then your so that's for the division commanders. Then from the division commander to the corps HQ, whichever corps they belong to, has to be within 8 movement points. Okay? This has really nothing to do with the order system. It's just a matter of how to keep your stuff organized and together and what the limits are. So hopefully that's clear. So the order system. Some people, for whatever reason, seem to get a little confused. So I'm going to, basically the order system in this game, there's 2 types of orders. There's complex, which involves any movement of your units within, as I think the rules put it, tactile control area. It's how you give orders to corps to attack, moving towards the enemy, that type of thing. That's a complex order. A simple order is basically anything else, which I know I'm kind of being in general, but, and there is a lot of trust. You got to be able to trust your opponent in a lot of ways with this system. So how the command system works is you have what's an order issue phase. Now, for example, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. The acting army commander in Thunder at the Crossroads for the Union side is Reynolds, who's right here. And he's stacked with his HQ, and of course right now he's got orders to march down the road, take up position on McPherson's Ridge. But he's the acting army commander. So let's say, you wanted to send an order from the army commander to another corps, which, okay, sorry guys, rewind, bad example. And no, I'm not going to edit the video, sorry. But I'll just make it even easier. Let's pretend for a minute that you have Meade in that hex and he wants to send an order to Reynolds, and let's say Meade is up here on Cemetery Hill. So the first thing you're going to do, and I got this form, the first thing you're going to do is you need to see how many command points does your leader have. And there again, these are the charts from the 3.2. So I believe Meade's rated at 2. So he has 12 points available to spend to write orders. And basically, orders are written. They're simple instructions, not hex by hex. They're, for example, Meade could send an order to Reynolds to change it from right now. He's, like you said, marching to McPherson's Ridge to establish a line there to protect the Cashtown Pike, or Chambersburg Pike, sorry, and whatnot. So, and approaches to Cemetery Hill. So say Meade, who wants to send the order to Reynolds, and I believe he's rated a 2, so he'd have 12 points, wants to send the order to Reynolds to, and not saying it's a good idea, but just as an example, like, okay, Reynolds, I want you to attack down the Chambersburg Pike. You would set yourself some kind of limit. You cannot, for example, write attack east. There needs to be an objective and some kind of reasonable limit. And normally I discuss this with my opponent, how we want to work it. Like I said, there's a little bit of trust. So I got this handy form, and I'm going to go over what each thing means for Board Game Geek. So you're going to put an order number. So it would say order number 1. We'll look at arrival time in just a second. Sender would be Meade, rated 2. Receiver would be Reynolds, rated a 4. And then the order type, order method, status, and points. And we're going to cover that here. So arrival time is pretty easy. They give you a nice little form here. It's all based on leader movement points. Where is it? Sorry, guys. Here it is. So it's the 9 a.m. turn right now. Let's just, for example, say it's, for ease, it's 15 leader movement points away. In other words, you count out from the Army HQ to the Corps HQ and divide that by 10. So if it was 15 and you round up, that means it would arrive 2 turns later. So it would arrive at 10 a.m., the order. Okay? You have to determine the order type, and these have different costs. So is it a complex order or order to attack? So that's going to cost you 3 points of his 12 available. And you can send it as oral or written with the respective cost pictured. Now, an oral order has more chance of being distorted, delayed. A written order is better, but depending on the situation, it's one way you can cover the points. So how do we get to, so that covers arrival time. So status. So what you do, one of the first things you do in the beginning of the turn, according to the sequence of play, is you do the command phase, which is writing and issue new orders. So it's going to arrive at 10 a.m. So we're going to pretend it left at 9, 2 turns later, each turn's a half hour. So 10 a.m. It arrives at 10 a.m. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the table here, and you're going to do leader rating sender. Like I said, I think Meade's a 2. Reynolds, we'll say he's the Corps commander, is a 4, so that's 6. Plus, we'll say it was written, that's a +0, and it's a complex order, so -2. So 6 minus 2, you get the 4 to 5 table, and you're going to get a different result. DT, which is distorted. It means the order got there, and guess what? It's trash, garbage, whatever. It didn't get there. It's gone. That's a DT. A D1 result, or A, is accepted. And I'll cover what happens when you have an order accepted here in a second. And then you have D1 and D2 results, okay? So a D2 result means on the next turn, you would roll for delay reduction, and you have to roll a 1, and then it becomes accepted. That's a D2. A D1 is you roll it on a 1 or a 2, it becomes accepted. So that's status. And of course, if you get an accepted, you put A. If you get a D1 or D2, you put it. Once it's accepted, you erase it and put accepted. and of course the total point cost. And like I said, you got to put what the order is. And it can't be attack east. You know, it should have an objective, should have some kind of reasonable parameters, can have a start time, and you could put preparatory bombardment, blah, 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 launch the attack, da, da, da. If it doesn't have a launch time, then you're going to have to launch it immediately. There's no dilly-dallying. The orders go to the headquarters. Now, your division leaders, like I said, have to stack with the leaders, with the brigade. Sorry. So, the corps commanders are no such restriction. But the corps HQ, you know, if it's under orders, once it gets to where it's going, it's kind of like bolted in place. Your corps commander has to, as soon as the order is accepted, has to touch base, even if it's momentarily, during the movement with the headquarters to implement the orders. And there can be no dilly-dallying, cheating. Remember, you've written orders. May take, you know, the situation you wrote them for may not even apply anymore, and you may be trying to get a whole other order going. So anyways, so once they're accepted, you implement it. And what happens then if you, all right, so that's orders. Hopefully clear as mud, right? I don't know. To me, it's not that tough. The way I picture it is, hey, I'm sending off an aide on horseback, like, hey, get moving, do this, you know. But I really like the order system because what it tends to do is like a moment of opportunity. If it's in your normal command radius and it's reasonable for what orders are under, then it's okay. But you're not able to just willy-nilly shift corps around and, you know, always perfectly react necessarily to what's going on. So then you have an initiative system also. So initiative are the same thing as orders, but it's just a different way to get them. Your army leader tends to not do initiative orders. It's your corps leaders and your division leaders, and then cavalry brigades can issue themselves initiative orders. You write the order. Whoever is issuing it has to be stacked with the leader. Stacked with who they're trying to give initiative to. An initiative also has, you can only attempt one per each organization, so it's better to go from the bottom up. In other words, you attempt an initiative roll with the division commander and he fails, you're allowed to try with the corps commander for the other divisions in the corps, but not the one you rolled for. If you roll for a corps commander right out of the gate, then you can't roll for below. So it's better to go from the bottom up. So initiative is totally based on, let's just for argument's sake say, so I got Wadsworth here, or Reynolds. I want to try to change his order through initiative. He's a 4. So I look here in the initiative table, he's rated a 4. And 9 or better, he succeeds. A 2, he'd be a loose cannon. What a loose cannon does, and anything in between that is a no effect. What a loose cannon happens, the other player, so your opponent gets to issue them a 1-turn order, and then they are in no order status. So, for example, you can't order them to attack, attack their own units. But you could order them to, move forward. I mean, it's kind of like what I think it was Sickles did, and I forgot exactly where he did it, so I'm just going to... But for example, like if Reynolds got a loose cannon and, you're trying to get him up here, the Confederate player might send him for a turn down these other roads, right? Say, oh yeah, march this way, dummy, It's, but it's kind of cool. It adds some risk. They're also, and I believe like in Thunder at the Crossroads for Sickles, there's actually a specific rule that makes the chance of him getting a loose cannon result even more. So there's a little bit of risk there. So that kind of covers initiative. For the cavalry brigade, so there's another thing called divisional goals. Now, the army leaders tend not to issue. An army leader can issue a divisional goal to an infantry division or a cavalry brigade. And a cavalry brigade can be issued by the division commander, right? And a divisional goal for a really, and I'm at 15 minutes, so we're going to go a little bit over. But a divisional goal, for a good example here, and I'm just going to point, is, and it's for a cavalry brigade, but in Thunder at the Crossroads, you got Gamble's brigade of Buford's division starts here. Their divisional goal is to defend Chambersburg Pike, and it's within like an 8 hex radius. But you've got Devon's brigade over here, and as you'll see in this game, I moved Buford he starts over here, I moved him over here, and so at the beginning of the 9 a.m. turn, I'm going to try to get initiative. Right now, Devon has a divisional goal to guard the Carlisle, Harrisburg, guard these 2 roads and the approaches to Gettysburg. I'm going to attempt to give him a goal to come over here and join the rest of the division to help defend here. So, but it's where you can detach a division, send it off on a special assignment. It doesn't have to abide by the normal division, the corps leaders. Radius moved by the 8 movement points to the corps commander. Let's see what else. I guess I'll save it for a different video. We're going to talk about corps attack stoppage. I also play with the optional defensive attack stoppage. So basically there's a chart, but I'll save that for another video because this one's already at 17 minutes. Hope this is helpful. I know I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. I did prep a little bit for this. Like I said, I do this out of the love of gaming, and I'm just trying to share and hopefully maybe get some of you to pull this old lady out and give the games a shot, A lot of fun, really playable. Obviously, I haven't made much progress with my Thunder at the Crossroads game, and real life's been busy. So anyways, thank you for watching. If you like it, first time you've seen it, please subscribe. I do videos when I can. And I'm gonna, I don't know, this is part 2. I imagine I'll do one more part on defensive orders and corps attack stoppage and defensive stoppage, and then probably do like a fire combat example. And I think at that point, that'll be it. That'll be, so maybe 2 more parts. For the Civil War Brigade series by the Gamers, you can find them on the used market, eBay, etc. Multi-Man Publishing discontinued the series a few years back, but there's lots of good titles out there. And anyways, have fun, enjoy the games. All right, this is Mark Ruggiero, aka Clark Commando 1983, the War Game Guy, signing off. Have a good one.